If you had a chance to have a face-to-face with God, what would you ask him? If he had to say, ask for one thing that you desire, what would it be? Would it be for your personal gain? Would it be for you to be able to lead people that you are leading as a leader very well? What would it be? Will you think of your family? Will you think of your friends? What would be the first thing that will come to your mind? Wouldn't it be for God to heal your loved one who is not feeling well? Wouldn't it be for God to come through for your situation? What would be? Let's genuinely think about this question and try to answer in the comments below. What would you ask God for if He were to ask you that question? Today we're going to be studying a man that was asked that question. Welcome everyone. Welcome to our Mercy Abounds channel here for our Wholesome Wednesday. We are on the book of the First Kings and we had First Kings chapter 3 part 1. Today we're doing part 2. So because chapter 3 was a bit long, so we decided to separate part 1 and part 2. So today we're doing it part 2. And in part 2, we are looking at Solomon. Let's continue to subscribe, to share, to like. We really love your comments and we really want you to engage with us. We want to hear your opinion. If God were to appear to you today and ask you to ask of him of one thing that you desire, what would it be? Today we are talking about Solomon. We spoke about him going to the high places like everyone else. And here he is sleeping there. And God appears at night. And in a dream, he has this dream. And in a dream, God is asking him, what is the one thing that you want me to do for you? And Solomon asks for wisdom and understanding. He says, I'm just a child. I've been given this throne. You have been leading my father all this time. And my father, you led him very well. You were merciful. So let's unpack there. Solomon is sleeping. And in a dream, God is asking of him, what is it that he wanted? And he explains. We have a lot of other people that had dreams in the Bible. And they had to look for interpreters. Here, Solomon is having a dream that is self-explanatory. And we also sometimes struggle with the idea of dreams. We wake up in the morning, we're not sure. Was it God? Is it me? Am I imagining things? What do you think? Do you think us here right now, in the 21st century, does God still speak to us through dreams? Does God still share what he once shared to his people through dreams? Could God speak to any individual here on earth using dreams? What do you think? What are your thoughts on the issue? So Solomon is sure when he wakes up in the morning. And I think that is where most of us struggle here. Waking up in the morning, we had a dream. Most of us say that we don't understand, or we are struggling with the idea, is this dream real, or is it God, or are you imagining things? So he is sure that God, when he wakes up in the morning, he's sure that it's God who spoke to him. So God says, what is it that you want? He says he wants wisdom, he wants understanding. Solomon, come on now. Very few of us would think of wisdom and understanding at that time when God is asking you for one thing, and all you think of is wisdom and understanding. I know these are a real deal. I know that. But I'm saying, let's be honest. I'm just saying, would we ask for those things as the first thing to ask for? Solomon does this. Where does Solomon get this? Because we hear, if we read closely, we realize that Solomon is already wise. When he is asking for wisdom, he's already wise. So could it be the wisdom that he already had actually helped him here to actually, because he's already wise, he knows what to ask for? Why is he asking for wisdom? Do we have levels of wisdom? A bit of wisdom, then you want God to put more. What is it? Why is Solomon asking for wisdom out of nowhere? Right? If we go to the book of Second Chronicles, we would understand why Solomon is asking for wisdom. A few days ago, we were celebrating fathers, right? We had a Father's Day over the weekend. And I would love us to look at this ideal father who is David. First, when Solomon is talking to God, when God has told, is asked, is said, okay, you can share whatever you would want me to grant, you would want me to give you, and I'll grant you that. And Solomon says, I want wisdom. You've been leading my father. You've showed him mercy. You've showed him a lot of things. And you've been leading him very well. And I've been put on this throne. And I am just a little kid. I don't know my going, my coming. Help me. I need wisdom and understanding. I like the word mercy. We all understand that Solomon is the son of Bathsheba and David. And I'm sure by this time, at this age, he already knows what happened for him to be here, right? He already knows what happened to his mother and his father, David. And when he is saying you've shown mercy, he's talking from experience. He has seen God showing mercy to. This is a lived experience. This is not something that he is imagining. He's mentioning things that he has seen with his own eyes. You have showed mercy to my father, right? I don't know my going, my coming. Now I'm asking for wisdom and understanding. And he is linking this God to David. He is talking, coming from David, the one whom you loved, coming towards me now. Now, why would he ask for wisdom and understanding? If you go to the book of First Chronicles, chapter 22, this is where David is preparing Solomon. I wanted to build the house for the Lord, but the Lord said, my hands are full of blood, and you are the one who is going to build this house. And David does something. He says, and I'm going to start preparing for you. Before he died, David, he had already started preparing, right, for Solomon, that when he comes and he takes over, he has already helped him in building. He so much desired to build the house, but because he was told that, okay, you can't build the house, he says, okay, I'm going to play a part. I'm going to gather the material. I'm going to help in gathering the materials together. As a leader, how many of us, when we know that what we had wanted, or our rulership or our leadership in that, could be in a company or in an organization, wherever we are, when you realize that it's been cut short, and the very one thing that you had been preparing for so long, right? For so long, you've been preparing that we're going to get there. And before you get there, right, you are told that no, you are not going to be part, you are not going to be the leader when we get there. You might be part of us, but you are not going to be the leader, or you will not be there at all when we get there. How many of us will have the heart to actually say, okay, fine, I'm not going to be there, but I'm preparing for the one who is going to come in my place when I'm gone? How many of us would have that thought, to actually prepare for the one who is coming in? If anything, most of us would want to fight, would want to make sure the one who is coming will fail, because it's a competition. David understands the continuation, that the same God who was in me, whether I like it or not, because he had seen this from Saul. God says, he says, I cannot touch Saul because he has been anointed. So Saul is busy chasing David left, right, and center because he wants David killed. And David says, I'd rather run than to kill him, because the one who is in him, the one who put him, right, is the one who is going to be leading me as well. So I should not fear that I'll do better than Solomon. No. I will respect him. I will let him rule. I will not disturb his reigning here in Israel, right? And David's time comes, and because he saw how it was done when he was coming in, when Saul was being removed, and he is doing the same thing. When he is coming in, he is very respectful of the king that is there. When he is moving away from the throne, he is respecting the one who is coming. That is what leadership is about. This is how we should behave as leaders. As we are coming in, respect the one who has been there, because they know the way. They know how to lead you on some of the issues that you might find them very complex. They know the place. Yes, they no longer have the power, you have the power. But yes, even if you have the power, they also had that power at some point. You give them that respect. And when you are now leaving, remember the one who is coming in, and also remember to give them respect. So David is showing us leadership, pure leadership here, that does not have any grudges, that is not threatened, that is has lived its life and is ready to let go. And David says, because God has not allowed me to do that, I will help you to prepare. And I pray for you. David says a prayer for Solomon there and there, that God gives you wisdom and understanding as you are ruling Israel. This is before David dies. This is a father preparing his son, setting him up for good, that he does not fall. And he says, I'm going to help you prepare. 1, 2, and I'm praying that he gives you wisdom and understanding. 3, I'm telling you, if you continue following his commandments, the laws, the statutes, he will walk with you always. And David prays this prayer. So when God later on comes, David is now dead. When Solomon now is asked by God, what do you want? What do you desire? Solomon is able to respond. Solomon is able to say, I want wisdom and understanding. Why? His daddy had already prepared him for this question. His daddy had already prepared, he had already set him up for good. He already knows what to ask for. As fathers, are we preparing our children? As fathers, as parents, are we preparing our children? If God were to ask our children today, wherever they are, what is the one thing you desire? Do you think you have prepared them enough to ask for the right thing? Do you think you have prepared them enough to answer God the right way? Because God then says, why I'm saying the right way, God, well, it sounds like it's a question that is asking you, anything you want, I'm going to grant you. Anything you want. But then when Solomon has answered, God says, because you have asked for these things, I'm going to add these other things that you have not asked. Because you have asked for something that is not for self-gratification. The question was not specific. It didn't say things that are not for self-gratification.
It's not specific. It's not specific. How many, if our children were to be asked the same question by God, would their answer reveal the wisdom of their parents? Because David was very wise. He realizes that this child is very young. He is just but a child. Let me rather set him up for good. First, he helped him to put the resources together. Secondly, he is telling him what he needs, and he puts it in his mind so that he knows. So that God, if God could give you wisdom and understanding, he prays that prayer. And he shows us here, the Bible shows us that God honors the prayers of the parents. He says, if God could give you wisdom and understanding. But also, David is aware that it's Solomon's choice to ask for wisdom and understanding. And God is also aware that it's Solomon's choice. So he comes to Solomon just as because David prayed the prayer. I'm going to honor the prayer of my friend David. But I'm going to come to you and ask you, what do you want? Because I'm aware your father has already told you what you should ask for. But I'm not going to give you what you do not want. So you have to say it yourself. What is it that you want? Then I will grant you. And Solomon, following the wisdom of the father, remembers that my father prayed a prayer that he asked God that he gives me wisdom and understanding. It means this is what I need. He says, if you could grant me this, you give me wisdom and understanding, because I'm a very young child. And God says, because you've asked for something that doesn't gratify you, I'm going to give you even those things that will gratify self. Yes, we agreed the question was not specific. But there's something here about leadership. David makes sure the one that comes after him doesn't fail. How many of us as leaders would want to see the success of our predecessors? How many of us as leaders are excited to see those that we left in our place doing very well? How many of us are willing to make sure that the prosperity or the success we started carries forward to the next person and its glory and everything else? How many? How many of us as parents are willing to set up our children for good and let them do better than we did and make sure that they have a good relationship with God? How many? We have to really interrogate ourselves here and self-reflect and see where we're going wrong. We are doing these lessons not just to have wows, us. No, we are doing them so that as we do that, as we read together, we reflect and we change. This is the main point why we're having these lessons, so that we could become better people. This is not just to say we have done a lot of books, no. We pick these books, yes, with your help as well, but also being intentional in making sure that we are changing lives and the lives of the families that we are around us. Let's reflect. As you are listening to this, reflect as an individual. What is your relationship with God like? Does it reflect someone who is willing to let go when the time comes? We struggle in the world over because of people that continue to hold on when it's time to let go. We struggle world over, organization everywhere. We are struggling with such people. Let us reflect and do what is right. We are people that even if we are willing to let go, we are not willing to see the next person have the same success and glory or even more. We are not even setting them up to have more glory. We struggle with that. We rather try and destroy a few things before they come in so that they start afresh. Can we change? Can we learn from David how leaders behave? Because all of us as children of God were leaders. Can we change and become people that reflect of a God? Because God, and here God coming to Solomon and wanting to grant him the wisdom and understanding shows that God still wants to give him the same glory, if not more. So God wants the one who comes after us to do better. We rather be working with heaven in making sure we are preparing the one who is coming than working against heaven, trying to sabotage the one who is coming after us so that we want to remain as the one when it was my time I did better. Let us learn and do better. Let us learn, reflect, and be better people. From us here, Mercy Abounds, we are reflecting and seeing our mistakes. Let us do the same and change our ways. Have a great week ahead.